A lot of you guys are brand new to me. You've never been on a class of mine before. So welcome, and it's super nice to meet you. But I'll give you guys a quick introduction. My name is Molly. I'm the admin of several other dog training marketing groups on Facebook, and I have been running Make It as a Dog Trainer for 11 years. We had our own dog training business for about 14 years, overlapping with teaching you guys and helping you guys. So about 11 years ago, after some struggles of our own that we had in our business and getting those turned around, and after helping a few dog trainer friends do the same thing, like especially back during the last economy collapse back in 2009-ish. We helped a few other dog trainer friends, and then we ended up running a workshop at the request of those dog trainers and several of their friends, and that's how Make It as a Dog Trainer was born, and have been running workshops ever since. So ever since then, I've been being able to help you guys have that super thriving, consistent dog training business, not get burned out, have the clients you love, make what you want to make, all that stuff. There are these videos that you can watch, and Michelle, I actually wrote her numbers. I put 4,000 to 20,000. It's actually closer to 3,000, she said in the video, that she was making per month. And she actually had, this is the change that she made initially. Now, she told me last year, she actually just had her second baby, and last year she was up to $240,000 for the year. So if you can see that changes, she was at $36,000 a year. Now she's at $240,000 a year. Her biggest program now is $4,325. And that is one of her most popular programs. In the past, before that, I'm pretty sure, if I remember her telling me correctly, that her most popular program was under $1,000 when I first met her, or maybe a couple $100 or something like that. So that kind of change is not super uncommon in the groups that are the people that are in these groups, in these classes. And I want you to know kind of the types of things that you can achieve, because if you don't know this, then you won't do anything. If you don't believe that you can do the same thing, you're just not going to do anything with the stuff that you learn. Here's Glenn and Heather. When I first started working with them, they were making half as much, working twice as long, basically. So when we changed their programs, they actually started making twice as much per client and working half as many hours and days for each client. So that kind of stuff happens pretty often too. And then we have, this one is an awesome story. This, Kelly is helping her daughter, Michaela, in her business. And what happened is they were at between $2,000 and $3,000 a month on average. Their previous high was $3,400 for the month. Then she learned some of the things in this class. And on the 5th of that month, they were up to $16,100. And by the 7th, they were up to $17,500 for the month. And that was from the cool thing about that is that was from the same number of clients. That wasn't even just that they got a ton more clients. It was from the same number of clients, the usual $2,000 to $3,000 a month, up to the $17,000 a month. She's still doing fantastic even now, by the way. And I talk to Kelly pretty often, and they're just doing amazing. That's the kind of stuff that you can achieve with the things that you're learning here. MJ was brand new to her business. She learned a lot of these things before she even got started. So in her first month, I think she made I think it was $7,000 in her first month, and then $15K in the second month. Then it wasn't part-time like she planned. She went full-time a lot sooner than she expected, because she did so well, and even though she was new. So you guys who are brand new, you can take a lot of inspiration from her story. Then there's Jamie. Something you guys can relate to, maybe you can relate to from Jamie's story, is that she mentioned in her video that she makes more money than her husband and has more time off. Which is funny, because a lot of you guys have mentioned to me that you don't feel supported by people in your family and your friends and things like that you don't feel that people get that this is a viable business, that this is something that you can do really, really well in, that this is basically a paid hobby. They don't take it seriously. It's not a real job. Do any of you guys ever have that experience that people are like that? And so she has a wonderful, supportive husband, but I just thought it was funny that she mentioned that she now makes more money than her husband and has more time off. So she started off at basically hobby income, about $1,000 a month. And then pretty soon was up to $6,000 or $7,000 a month. And then soon after again was up to $16,000 to $20,000 a month. You can go in any dog trainer Facebook group and ask, and you'll hear them. There's tons and tons of them, of stories like this. Whitley averages $43.98 per client now, and just hit her first $1 million year last year. She was, when I first met her, around $260,000 a year. And she has a small facility, very small staff, but she had some major changes to her business that were not even related to the income. So that's just as important, that you don't necessarily just want to just make a lot more money. You want to actually enjoy the business. So that's another story. And we're going to talk about, I'll get back to that in a second, the things that they have in common. So as you hear these crazy stories and these amazing things that people have done, There are tons and tons of trainers who are just starting off, barely scraping by, afraid that they're going to end up proving everyone right when they said you can't make a great living training dogs. And you guys who are like that, you will go to making more than the rest of your family members combined, potentially. That these are all these trainers are doing so well for very specific reasons, and they're doing well for a lot of times the same reasons. And of course, officially, I cannot promise you any specific results. That's not allowed. I don't know you personally. I don't know how much you're going to implement, how much you're going to be dedicated to this, but I have been doing this for a very long time, and I do know what is likely going to be in your way and prevent you from being successful, and the things that will hold you back. When I first started my own dog training business, I was pretty young, and I already had a really good office job. I worked in a corporate job. I was kind of on my way up in the company, but I hated it. I hated working in an office building. Very fascinated with office supplies, but that's about it. I didn't like anything else about it. So I quit that job and decided I was going to train dogs. But you have to kind of keep in mind that this is, I had this job. I was making $30,000 a year, which to me at the time was a lot of money. 20 years old, working at this corporate job. So the income was tight. And I got this great job, and I'm working my way up and everything else. So then I was like, I'm just going to throw all that away. I've got good benefits. I've got a 401k. I'm just going to toss it and go start a dog training business. So if you can imagine, some people might have thought that was a little bit crazy. Some people even close to me, and out of concern might have been thinking, you can't make a good living doing this. And that's still a common belief. It's one of the common myths about dog training businesses is that you have to have a ton of employees and do really long board and train programs, and you have to have a facility and all kinds of things like that might be, things that you think about or things that you assume about what it takes. And you might not feel it now, but everything that happens in your business, wherever you are, whatever's going on, there's always a reason why things are happening the way that they are. If your income is inconsistent, if you're having trouble getting things started off quickly, you're doing all right, but you're burning out, or you're meant for more things and, you have the ceiling that you just can't figure out how to break through, totally get it. There's always a reason why the thing is happening. So there's always something that you can adjust. There's always something that you can learn or do a little differently to get wherever it is that you want to go. And sometimes it's just a really small change. There's no better time than ever in the past to be a dog trainer. There's such an amazing business, such an amazing opportunity to help people and make their lives better and work with animals, work outside, have an amazing income, have an amazing schedule that fits your lifestyle, and truly love what you do. How many professions can offer that? How many businesses can offer that? And have such a little kind of barrier to entry as well, as far as expense and the amount you have to learn and all that. Every time I do classes, there are a significant number of trainers who truly get life-changing results from being here. And again, I know what's possible for you and what you're capable of. And it's really, really vital that you figure out what you believe is possible for you or what you want to be possible for you. And if you don't, you will, like I said, not do anything with this stuff. You'll just think they're cool ideas, or you'll be too afraid or distracted to actually implement it. Another thing that might get in your way is just letting other people discourage you. That, you have to remember that anybody who tells you any kind of limiting thing about what you can accomplish in your business is just missing information. They just don't know. It's just like all of us when we learned a lot of these things the first time, all the things that are going on here. If you don't know these things, you don't know what can be accomplished. So the stories you're going to hear and those successes are not due to some kind of advantage that they have that you don't. So you need to get that out of your head. There's nothing about their location that makes them more successful than you. There's nothing necessarily even about their dog training ability. Sometimes, although that's important, I will specify and say, obviously I'm going to assume that you know how to train dogs. Some of the advantages that they might have, I could say might have something to do with their personality, because they were determined and they did believe that if other people can do it, so can they. That they don't let themselves think or say, oh, well, I have this disadvantage that they don't have, or this challenge that they don't have. People around here aren't, going to spend that kind of money on dog training. It's the economy. It's this, it's that. There's all these excuses, all these reasons why you can't do it. You got to get them all out of your head, because I can tell you 99% of them have absolutely no basis in reality. And even if they do, they don't matter. You can still overcome them. The only advantage that these people had is that they learned these strategies and these mindsets and these principles that we're here to talk about. And they are normal dog trainers, normal people just like you, with extra normal results due to applying this knowledge.